Marriage, which is the first institution established by God, thus forming the family through marriage. God works through the family and is connected to the structure of the family. As believers no longer conform to this world, you're supposed to be developing a family culture that represents the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. And ask yourself, does my family represent the kingdom of God? Not in theory, but in behavior, in action, attitude, mind, and heart. See, God's blessing pipeline is the family unit. But that's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. That is why the welfare of the family is so critical. Because if you weaken or destroy the family, you cut the pipeline of wealth, making the status of the next generation uncertain. Not only this, your family starts to weaken, playing a lesser role in the wider community because the household now lacks economic significance. Think about that. How big of a role do you play in your surrounding community? Stability. You lose stability. How stable is your family? Is the father really the rule in your household? See, all of these things are key to establishing a family culture that represents God's kingdom. This is all part of Satan's plan to indoctrinate families into seeing themselves as inferior and unsuccessful. How does your family see itself? How do your family members see itself? How does your extended family see itself? Does it see itself as being successful or unsuccessful? This leads to a loss of identity for the family, resulting into a sense of not belonging. Do you really feel like you belong to the overall system, the overall environment? Or do you hear things said like, this is another man's work? I'm just trying to survive, I'm just trying to hold on. I really don't have an impact or an influence on what's happening. That's why most people don't vote. They say it doesn't make a difference in the impact that they have in society. The outcome of this mindset is that you have a generation that's needing mainstream society or others to confirm them before they can become legitimate in their own minds. Who do you need to tell you great before you believe you great? Who do you need to agree with what you are about before you can have the confidence that it's in a legitimate mindset and it's legitimate to do? See, this is what a family is supposed to do for you. It's supposed to put you into a place where you know for a certain who you are, you know for a certain what you bring to the table, and you know for a certainty what your purpose is. See, our spiritual family, you have to remember, got its identity from Abraham. Because he's the father of faith, if you call yourself a child of God. God told Abraham that stewarding his family and his wealth by governing righteously was crucial to his being able to walk through life in God's covenant promises. Genesis 18 and 19. And we realize that God has told us we are the children of Abraham because of faith. That's why we don't walk by what we see. We walk by what we know and what God has told us. But God is going to tell us today what the family is supposed to look like. He's going to tell us the roles that we are supposed to play within that family to enjoy the covenant promises that he made through Abraham. God is the one that's put the plan together for you to have a significant role in your community and the things that are going on around you. Does anybody want that? I guess that's the next question. You may think that the world has a better offer. And these are the decisions that we're going to have to make. See, family government at home produces wealth, and that wealth skills, talent, stewardship impacts our circle of influence. Think about that. As parents, you're supposed to be helping developing your children's skills, talents. Through the skills and talents that you have been given to set the framework for the identity of your family, who you are, your purpose, and what you bring to the table to make yourself successful in life. But children, you may feel that the world has a better plan for you than your parents. And you may not want to hear what your parents are trying to tell you. I'm telling you, you're losing the game already because there's no other vehicle to prepare you for life outside of the family. There is not one. Regardless of what the world is telling you, there's nowhere you can go outside of your family and be prepared for the life that God has lined up for you. Because it's coming, whether you're prepared for it or not. And your family, your parents can tell you that. That may be why they're on such a mission to help you get it. Because they may have thought when they were coming through that the family didn't have the best plan for them and what they wanted to do in life. I heard a brother was telling me that his father had a plan to purchase this property on US 1. He was going to New York City. He ain't got time for that. One of the most prime piece of real estate in Warren County right now. But we just couldn't see that. Would have been set. Him and all his family. Would have been set. Would have started off with the inheritance. Are you hearing me? Then you look back and say, my God, my God. You see all that right there? You see all that right there? You see all that? We got clear prime property. That could have been ours. Could not see the plan that the daddy had for them. Because he had came from a family where his daddy was called to be nobody. Yes. He was told that he was going to be nobody. So he got on a mission to make sure he was going to be somebody in the eyes of the world. But he wasn't selfish. He wanted the world to see that his family was going to be somebody too. And he was determined to put them on a road that would get them there. Couldn't see it. Had a better plan. I don't even think he ever made it to New York. Sure did. So you have all these great plans of what you're going to do, and you don't ever even pay it up. How many people do you see retiring to go to New York? To go up north? Everybody's retiring to come down south. That's right. See, it ain't how you start. It's how you finish. They did in their mind a necessary suffering for a period of time to live the good life. Unfortunately, they come here and set up the good life and enjoy it for 30 days, then they die. Yep. God says, he who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Adversity pursues sinners, but the righteous will be rewarded with prosperity. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. As a rule, it takes about 25 years or 3 generations to develop a character trait. So you have to, as a born-again believer, look at your family circle, look at your family tree, and find what spirits have been assigned to it, and declare that the buck stops here. You know what? I'm not going to allow this spirit to run in my family line anymore. I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to prepare my children spiritually so that this spirit can be defeated and they can have authority over it, but also in the process teaching them how to experience God for themselves so they'll know that God is real and he is the source of all things. So you're trying to build a life, young people. It ain't out there for you to find. All of those things that you see out there that are attracting you, they are the results of other people's dreams, following their plan, and it's not yours. You're not going to get it, they're not going to give it to you. And they're not going to allow you to take it away. And we have to understand it starts with the family. That's why today we want to start a series on the family, and then we're going to start with the wife. We'll be coming from Colossians chapter 3, verse 18. Wives, submit to your own husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Wives, submit to your husbands. The objective is we want to understand God's intended role for the wife in relation to her husband. As believers no longer conform to the world, we are to develop a family culture that represents the kingdom of heaven. What's the point? As children of God, you've been called by God. He wants to build this new culture, this new community, this new lifestyle. The one that he intended for man from the beginning. That's what you have to grasp as a child of God. What's the goal? Today we want to understand subjection from God's perspective. God has a magnificent and wonderful design for women. It is a design which will fulfill their creative purpose, maximize their uniqueness, make them a blessing to the world, and bring fulfillment to their own lives and glory to the name of God. But the world painted this picture of women playing the role that God created them to play as some kind of inferior role. That's because they don't understand why God put you here. And that's what we understand today from God's perspective, subjection. What does God say, not the word? Subjection. The Greek meaning of the word subjection carries the meaning of willingly putting yourself under someone or something. To be under obedience, to obey, submit self unto. Everything that we say we believe must be tested because it requires faith to follow God. 2 Corinthians 4:18, we'll start at verse 16. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Even though our outward man is perishing, yet the inward man is being renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. You see these soldiers right here. They following this guy, right? Now you see that cliff, don't you? Now, why don't sometimes it looks like your husband about to lead y'all off a cliff? Wife, most of the time you got your husband looking back at you. But he ain't following his own advice. He's telling you eyes forward, chest out, be ready, walk. While he's looking back, telling you that. He's doing the best he can too. Drivers don't need distraction.
No.
It's hard enough following God without the voice behind him.
Yes.
He got one in front of him telling him to do something like, Lord, I see that cliff. I know she said, Lord, I see that cliff. But you telling me to walk, I'm going to walk.
Yeah.
This is your challenge, and this is where you got to be real at, ladies. And I know you have submitted to your husbands, but we're going to get to the key to that submission. So you can really understand the danger that you put all your people in when you're distracting the driver. So what's the purpose? Why did God create woman? Because we're trying to see things from God's perspective, because we need to know what he says so we can line up with him, because he is building a new thing. Not a replica of what the world has created, but he's building a new thing that requires a particular pattern, a particular structure to produce the life that everyone wants anyway. Genesis 2:18. God said it was not good for the man to be alone. So God made the man a suitable helper. See that picture right there? This is your master craftsman right here. This is his apprentice. He's actually training the apprentice to do what he's doing. You get that? He's not training the apprentice to do his own thing. He's training the apprentice to make shoes like he makes them. One of the biggest problems when you start to move into somebody else's stuff, you have a tendency to want to tweak it. I don't know why he made it like that. He made it like that because that's the way he wanted it. Why do you want to change it? Because that's the way you want it. What makes your want any more important than the other one? And since you're not in charge, you should follow the want of the one that's in charge, right? Now, you have to understand this, men, because we ain't talking about the men today, we're talking about the women. I just want to throw this point in, because you might start grinning, right? He is a master craftsman, not a rookie. He is expert at what he do, because he's taking the time to learn his craft, to perfect his craft. And God has given us all instructions on how to follow his way so we can perfect our craft. That means as a child of God, you have to be perfecting your role. Not that it changes the rule of God. That's the awesome thing about God. Because he lets it get very interesting if it needs to. For everybody. It ain't what you see, it's what did I say. It's not about what you know. It's about what did I say. Because this is going to help you in your faithfulness. Because you got to decide who and what you're trusting. Does that make sense? Because we're building something, y'all. This church thing, we're building something. It goes beyond just coming here each Sunday, coming here each Wednesday, learning the word. You're coming to get these instructions so you can leave out and start building this thing. Not just go back and try to remember this information and as you go through the thing you already got. You just look at it and admire or decide you want to tweak a little bit what you already got instead of realizing you have to scrap it. So it's like you go help your mother or somebody clean up and they don't want to throw in nothing. But every time you find something that they ain't seen in 20 years, you want to throw it, oh no, I want to hold on to that. That's what it is with our family and our lifestyles. As God comes in and starts saying, look, let's throw this out. But now I'm going to need this down the road. You know, yelling sometimes works good to get what I want done down here. You know, raising my voice works at times. Not agreeing gets what I want sometimes. So come on, that's just, you know, I ain't going to use it. Just want to hold on to it. Why?
Just keep it, man.
Why? You never know when you might need it, right? That's what you say? I might need it. I know right now he's doing well. But he has a tendency, he has a pattern. He'll do well for a while. And usually when I get on it and just show him how I'm pleased I am or just raise my voice or pinch him or something, he has a tendency to kind of snap back.
Tighten up.
And then kind of keep me happy for a little while longer, right? See, all of that is dangerous because that's what you need to scrap.
Yeah, scrap this.
We need to scrap it. Because we're building something new. It doesn't work with any of that. Every time you do that, it's like you're building with real lumber. Money get a little tight. Then you go get your pressed particle board.
Yeah.
Looks good when you first finish it, don't it?
Yes, sir.
A little rain, then a little stretching and pulling. That pressed particle board ain't gonna hold it with that wood.
Yes, sir.
If the nail pull out, somebody's gonna pull out that pressed particle board. Or it's gonna get weak and broke down. You ever look like your marriage a little weak and broke down? Because you got some pressed particle board in there. You gotta move it out. When you were cleaning up, there were some things that you were told that you didn't need no more. That you stopped using it on the surface, but you had kept it, you didn't throw it away. Because you know that works at times. See, you don't know what working looks like until you see God working. See, when God working, it's gone. When you working, it keeps coming back, right? And that's what we have to understand. We're building something, people. We're not trying to hold on. You're not trying to maintain. You're looking at your stuff you got and said, what needs to go? What is the perspective? Satan is Antichrist, y'all. That means he's totally opposite against what God stands for. Now, if God created woman to be man's helper, and Satan be Antichrist, guess what Satan wants? Satan wants the man to be the woman's helper. And don't get me wrong with it, some men like being your helpers. They like the fact that the wife can take it and run with it. So they can go play. The point, everything is created for God's purpose. You are created for God's purpose, not your own. So what's the challenge? The woman's desire is to lord it over her husband because of sin. That's the same text used in Genesis 4:7 when God talks to Cain about his brother. He says, look, why is your countenance falling? Why are you looking so bad? Don't you know that if you do what is right, things will be well for you? He said, but if you don't, understand that Satan is at the door. And his desire and control you. But it should be, you should rule over him. You were born with this, ladies. Because of the fall, became desirous to rule over the man. Now, young women, just think about it now. How often are you trying to be the one that tells everybody what to do? And you didn't wake up one day and say, this is the way I want to be, right? It just naturally came, so you naturally assume that you're supposed to be the one in charge because you have such great ideas, don't you? That's a flaw. And it's a flaw because of the fall. Why? Because it was the woman that was deceived. This is the thing you have to understand. Eve believed with all her heart that she was right when she took up the fruit. Women, I know you believe with all of your heart that you are right. And that if you would just listen, life would be a lot better. That's a flaw. God has the instruction. God can talk to him. You got him looking backwards at you. He can't hear God. And when he hears him, God did give him some instructions that are way out of line with what you're saying. You're already upset. He don't even want to tell you, listen. And if he tell you, he got to get mad to tell you. Because God keeps elevating you. Somebody going to listen to me. You either going to take her to a place where she just go loses her mind, or we're going to take you to a place where you don't find yours. And you don't even realize you're doing it half the time. You just helping out. Try not helping out. And talk to God. Say, Lord, look, this is what I see. So I'm going to trust you. I'm going to be still. And I'm going to trust and see what you're going to do. Marriage. In the 5th chapter of Ephesians, we're told that the husband-wife relationship in marriage is the same as Jesus Christ's relationship with his church. And as you see this picture here, Christ is the head, and the body down there represents the church, right? The woman has the same role in service to her husband as Jesus has in service to God. Grasp that. Women, wives, in your marriage, you have the same role to your husband as Jesus has to God. What was Jesus' role to God? John 5:19-20. What Jesus says, I'm kind of paraphrasing. I don't do anything on my own. I only do what I see the Father doing and what I hear the Father telling me. That's what Jesus said, right? So what should the wives be saying? I only do what I see my husband doing and what I hear him telling me to do. Now, you know that's blasphemy, right? But think about this. How much better would your marriage be? The point, Proverbs 31:10-12. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. See what it says? A wife has to position herself so her husband knows that he can totally trust her like God trusts Jesus. That he can trust her that his goals and objectives for the family are going to be fulfilled. Young women, you need to know that if you want to be married, your goal is to find, when a husband finds you, make sure he is the one because his goals are going to be your goals. And your desire is only this. I want to live the rest of my life with this man to help him carry out his goals and objectives in life. That's what you got to be teaching your daughters, parents. That's why you have to have an identity, goals and objectives and strategies and plans for your family to grow in and develop in so they'll understand the importance. And we have to understand that most of us are starting off without any of that foundation, without any of that background. But we are seeing the impact, the negative impacts of not having it. Family members don't know their identity, so you just let them kind of grow up and see what they become to be. But you had no structure in telling them what the identity of the family was. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is how you carry yourself on a daily basis to make sure you are representing this family, our family values. This is what's going to help you make it through life and avoid the pitfalls, because along with that, you're now able to identify their character, the things that they are attracted to, and you can start to recognize their identity. and you are now preparing them for the way that they should go. We're doing this so that as we're raising our children, we're going to position them to say, look, before you even think about getting married, you need to know who you are. Now, if you think you're one of those people that can't be talking about living out some man's dream, you got two options. Well, yeah, you got two options. Don't get married and celibacy. That's it. If you want to live a life that pleases God. Because when a man finds that wife, she's going to be a wife sold out to helping him accomplish what he wants to accomplish. That's your soulmate. That's your soulmate. And your life is not based on how you look, how you feel. It's based on the fact that you are identified with each other. And so many times people are marrying people that are not their soulmate. And you have nothing in common. We didn't understand the importance of marriage and all of the things that went into marriage to make sure you have an effective marriage. And we get tied up with people that we don't relate to, that are not about what it is you are about. And that you create this struggle where you never really reach your full potential because you're not on the same page. God put us in a position to be trained so that we can recognize when he's sending us our spouse. And it's the man that is supposed to find the wife, not the wife find the man. Or be advertising for him. If she's advertising for you, she's not the one. She's trouble. If she carries her days trying to show you all of her goods, she's not the one. It may look good, fellas, but it's not a keeper. It's trouble.
Absolutely. All day.
It shows a lack of respect for self.
Yep. Exactly.
That you're willing to show your valuables to everybody.
Yep.
Man wants what he can't get.
Yes. That's
He
it.
just built that way.
Wow.
He's not into roadkill. He'll take it, but it's not someone you take home to mom.
Nope. No, sir.
He just know, because mama gonna know. You know mama gonna know.
She knows too. She knows.
If she's advertising her goods, run.
Right. Yes.
You'll find her in Proverbs.
Yep.
She's the enticer. The one that says, come on over to my place.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And our women have gotten very overly aggressive.
Yep. Yes. That's it. Yeah.
And they want to know why they're having problems in their relationships. He's in it for what you offered him. Now you want him to want more. He didn't come looking. You came looking.
Exactly.
Why? Because we have to clearly understand God's purpose for marriage. It's a man and woman coming together so that they can represent his character to the world and fill the world with his influence. Nothing else, people. Not to deliver you from your strict family. Not to deliver you from your boring family.
Yeah.
Your poor family.
Yes.
Your crowded family.
Amen.
Not to take you out of poverty, out of Warren County. It is to fill the world with God's presence. Means you all about having children's. Planned children's. Because he said fill the world. You can't fill the world with one. But who wants to hear that? This is where we fail at. We fail to truly understand God's purpose for marriage. Young ladies, you get married, I want to have children. I want to raise them as godly children. And I want to live to fulfill my husband's dreams and desires regardless of what they are. So if he's a thug, guess what? You committed to.
Thug life.
You think you go in there and change him, you're going to be Miss Thug whether you want to or not. Your children's going to be junior thugs, whether you want them to or not, because that's the spirits. Your parents used to tell us, watch the blood. I didn't know what they were talking about back then. They said, watch the blood.
All right.
Yes.
But they were saying, if you want to know what you got, go trace that family tree.
That's right. Lord.
And on their best day, they don't mean no harm.
That's all you
But that's the best you're going to get.
Amen.
If that's what you want, go for it. But if you make your bed hard, roll over that much more often because I told you. Don't come running to me. It's in the blood, people. It's a spirit. It's a characteristic. Every family has an identity. You got to recognize what identity rules that family tree. Don't think because Jimmy nice because he's young. Jimmy hasn't been challenged. He hasn't put into the role of combat. The greatest role of combat he will ever enter is marriage. It's designed. Didn't understand what marriage is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Single guys are not married people, y'all. Dating is not marriage. That's a fantasy. Dating is a fantasy world.
Yeah.
You only show up when you feel like showing up.
Yeah. That's
You
it.
put on your best face when you show up because you're after something.
Yeah. That's it.
Where do we get off like it's going to be like this when we get married? See, it's an illusion. We're distracted, and what God is trying to tell us as Christians, I brought you into this family to show the world the right way. So because I can't build what I'm trying to build with this stuff you're trying to bring in. If you spend too much time fighting, you can't get nothing done. That's what a marriage looks like when you're not with your soulmate. You spend too much time fighting. And you don't get anything accomplished. And if you get us distracted, you just live a miserable life. So the wife's role. Y'all see that picture good?
Yeah.
Y'all see that body?
Yes.
You see that head?
Yes.
You see that head? That's a wife. That's a guy's head. That's a marriage. That's a wife. That's what our wife's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
He said it was hilarious. You see how we think about God's way of doing things?
Wow.
Yeah.
See, John alert. He won't look at that.
No, that's a guy.
That's the head of a man.
That's a man.
That's his wife.
Yeah.
That's the body of his wife.
Wow.
That's the way it's supposed to look like, people. When you go out into the world, why? That's how you're supposed to look.
Yeah.
Now, what man? Now, what man's going to approach you and say, baby, you look like this?
Yeah.
He ain't got, when you, like your husband wants you to be, he ain't worried about you being out there.
Yeah.
So who's going to approach that?
Yeah.
You're thinking about running, ain't you?
Yeah.
Right, I'm gone.
That's an experiment right there going bad.
Yeah. That's it.
You get that picture, you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Why do you say that, brother? In marriage, God has assigned the wife as her husband's representative to her family and the world as Jesus is to God. 1 Corinthians 11, 3 and 7. But I want you to know that the head of every man is Christ. The head of woman is man. The head of woman is man. Terminology. He says the head of the woman. He could have said ruler. He could have said the authoritative figure. But it's a word picture. This is what it looks like. Hebrews 1 and 3. God, who at various times and in various ways spoke in time past to the fathers by the prophets, has in these last days spoken to us by his Son, whom he has appointed heir of all things, through whom also he made the worlds, who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power. The woman is to man what Jesus is to God. Jesus is the exact representation of God. The woman is the exact representation of the man. Where did the woman come from? She came from man. Who is the glory of God? The man. The woman is the glory of who? The man. The man. She is the same to her husband as Jesus is to God. So that when you see her, you're supposed to see her husband. She's supposed to be an exact representation of his character, his glory. Because in their relationship, he has been revealing to his wife who he is, what he's about,
Wow.
how he thinks.
Yeah.
Now the right wife has the responsibility to reveal him to their children,
Yeah.
not make him a bad guy.
Yes. Yep.
Just like Jesus explains God to us,
Yep.
so that we can see him and understand his love for us and his provision for us.
Yeah.
The wife is supposed to be doing the same
Same
thing
Yes.
to her children.
Yes.
Because she is committed
Yes.
to spending her time with them,
Amen.
training them, and building the home.
Come on
The
now.
husband is supposed to be able to trust his wife to build the home.
Come on now.
He could go away for a year and come back and know that his wife has been carrying out everything
Everything.
to the letter.
Yeah.
And when she's not sure, she communicates with him. Just like Jesus said, look, I don't do nothing on my own accord. I only do what I see the Father doing, and I hear him telling me. The point is, when you see the wife, you're supposed to see the husband. So what is the principle? When you talk about subject to your own husband. Wives must obey their husbands. That's the objective. That's the rule. You must obey your husband. And you be like, Lord, have mercy. He ain't even woke up yet. He's still in the days. That's good. Now it's time he can wake up.
Yeah. Amen.
You can go to sleep and let him take over. If you don't like what you see, just shut your eyes and say, Lord, I'm just driving along. You got it. We'll be all right because you did so. But I just keep my eyes shut most of the time so I can't see this
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
In the same way, wives, be submissive to your own husband, so that even if any of them are disobedient to the word, shut your mouth. When I grew up in church, they would say, yeah, you follow her if he is in the Lord, if he follows the Lord.
Yeah, yeah. That's what they
So if he
say.
ain't here, heathen, you know, just come on in here and do your thing.
Yeah.
He didn't say be disobedient to the law.
Yeah, boy.
He says, in the same way, you wives, in the same way, be submissive to your own husband, not the pastor.
Yeah.
But pastor said,
Yeah.
ooh, don't never tell your husband.
Yeah.
Don't never tell your husband what no other man said.
Yeah.
Who care how he take it, he don't like it.
No.
I don't care who he is. He
Yeah.
just, he's troubled, that troubles him.
Yeah.
Man. But this is what's even, so that even if any of them are disobedient to the word of God, if you ain't sure. What did he say? He said, wives, listen to you. I know you godly women, and I know you love me. But if your husband ain't obedient to my word, God, you still must obey him. He's your husband, not me.
Yeah.
How can you do such a thing, God, when I know what your words say? I'm looking and listening to my husband, sounding like Abraham, telling me to do stuff I know ain't right. Wives, likewise, be submissive to your own husbands, that even if some do not obey the word, that without a word may be won by the conduct of their wives.
That's it.
What conduct? He told me not to say nothing. Oh, I didn't finish. When they observe. Observe means to see. To look and you see something. Not here. Oh, what do you say? When they observe your chaste conduct. Accompanied by fear. This is respect reference.
Yeah.
But we'll get to the other one. Let your adornment be merely, do not let your adornment be merely outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on fine apparel. Rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart, with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle, quiet spirit,
Yep.
which is very precious in the sight of God. For in this manner, in former times, the holy women who trusted in God, also adorned themselves, being submissive to their own husbands, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, small l, whose daughters you are, if you do good and are not afraid with any terror. That's the key right there.
Yep.
How can I do such a thing? You got to overcome that fear and terror of where your husband going to take you. Isn't that simple? Complete remedy. Instead of focusing on your husband, even if you have submitted yourself. Now this, I'm talking to those that have submitted now. All right? Those that have submitted. Because we know you love God. We know you're doing the best you can. And you have submitted. But are you afraid? Are you terrified of where this might be going? Listen.
Yeah, man.
Sarah loved Abraham.
Yes.
And she respected him.
Loved him.
But she trusted God.
Yeah.
So she saw that Abraham wanted no chick. He don't have a clue. He ready to pimp me out right now.
Hey.
Because I know his thinking, I can get another wife. I can have more seed, and look, and I'll move on and be happy. But without any fear or terror. So when he's making those decisions, just understand, there's a chance for me to practice overcoming fear. Have you stirred it up a notch? It's time for me to practice overcoming being terrified. God, I trust you and you alone. Please protect us
Yeah.
and our husbands.
Yeah.
Because we need you, God.
Man.
And I refuse to look at anything I see. I'm standing on what you said.
Yes.
Because I'm going to make sure I be the greatest helpmeet ever.
Yeah, man.
And the greatest helpmeet you could be is keep God on your side.
Yes.
So that you can be in line and God can honor his promises. Woo, isn't that good?
Yeah.
Without any fear or terror. For Titus 2, 3, and 5. This is the woman's perspective, the wife's perspective, is to love their husbands, love their children, to be sensible, pure, workers at home, kind, being subject to their own husbands, so that the word of God will not be dishonored. And if you've grown up as a young lady and you want a career, you want whatever type of life, I'm telling you now, marriage is not for you. You're going to be constantly in conflict. And you're not going to give your family what they need because you're going to chase that career.
Yeah.
So if you feel that way, start praying to the Lord that he give you a spirit of celibacy.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have your cake and eat it too and love God. You're either going to marry a man or you're going to marry God.
Yeah.
You marry God, you got to be pure. In other words, you'll be a virgin. So if you like boys now, you probably ain't that one. If you starting to glad that you're developing so you can start showcasing your goods, you're probably not the one.
Yeah.
See, if you're that one, you're doing all you can to hide what you have.
Yeah.
So don't fool yourself. So you got to decide who you're going to marry. God or some man.
Yeah.
And if you marry a man, know why God put you together.
Yes.
Your career is your husband's dreams and desires.
Yeah.
And to give you a heads up to help you be more successful, don't go telling everybody your business out there. Because once you start to let them know that was your dream, they're going to tell you you've been brainwashed. And that you need to get away.
Yeah.
You need to have your own career.
Yeah.
You can marry who you want to marry. So you don't have to get married. You don't have to get married. You can have children without getting married. That's the counsel they're going to give you.
Yeah, that's
And it's
it.
going to sound so right.
Yeah.
Because it's going to hit everything that your flesh wants to hear.
Yeah.
Conclusion. Godly wise. But I do not allow a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man, but to remain quiet over a man. For it was Adam who was first created, and then Eve. And it was not Adam who was deceived. Women, hear this. When Adam and Eve were sitting there trying to debate over that eating, Adam was not deceived. He knew what he was doing. The woman thought she was doing what was right. But you know what's so sad? She couldn't even see that she was wrong anywhere. Hear what I'm saying, people. And it was not Adam who was deceived, but the woman being deceived fell into transgression. Woman, the way she is made, struggles with deception. What is the line on men out there now? There's nothing but dogs and you can't trust them.
Yep.
My question is, how'd you let them fool you? See, men have told you how to find out whether the man you got is genuine or not.
Tells you.
Keep your goods to yourself.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
You'll
it.
find out quick.
If you want to know
Yep.
what type of man you got,
Keep your.
stop giving away free milk.
Yes. That's it.
You'll find out quick.
Tell him if he wanted, these are the conditions.
Yes. That's it.
There you go.
For me and for you.
Yes, sir.
Number one, I'm a queen.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, queens need a castle, not a hut. A castle.
That's right.
Because I have aspirations and dreams where on my own, I can live like a queen. Now, hear me well, because you after me. If you want me, this is what it's going to cost you. Number one, I need a castle. Number two, I need security. Long term. I need stability. I need to know what life's going to be like tomorrow. I need you to have a plan to show me in my mind how we're going to get there. And I'm not saying your plan don't work, but if I can't see how it works, you ain't the one. Now, this is how long, this is your probation period. Now, in 3 years, we can make some kind of decisions on how we move forward. Being I'm a godly woman, 3 is the number of Christ.
Yes.
3 is the number of Christ. I got to be in Christ in this place. So for 3 years, that's right, you can work on your stuff. And if you get a drink of milk from anybody, while you're on probation, I will know.
Yes.
Because God gonna tell me.
Yeah, right. You do.
I ain't got to go looking.
Yeah.
So this is how God says it's supposed to work.
That's right.
Now if Joseph could work, Jacob could work how many years? 14 years
14 years.
for his wife.
Yeah.
And at the end of the first 7, he got a judge.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he wanted me enough
Yeah.
that he was willing to go to abuse for 7 more years.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the pattern for me.
Yeah.
That's what I set my standard by.
Yeah. That's it.
Trust me, you gonna pay for this.
Yes. That's right. You're gonna work.
When you get this, you gonna know it's yours.
Yep.
I'm gonna know it's yours. Ain't nothing else gonna be on your
Amen.
mind.
Yeah. That's true. Anything else will be on your mind. Amen.
What you talking about? Look, buddy, you talk about the rest of my
The
life.
rest of my life.
I'm 20.
Yeah.
I got a history of people living a long time in my life.
Yes.
Now, you think I'm going to spend about 70, 80 years with you
Foolish.
in some kind of foolishness?
No.
Hey, brother, I don't even want none of that.
Yeah. I tell you
That's
what.
right.
That's it. That's it, man.
I ran across women that after the first thing or doing the first thing, I got a couple milk.
Yeah.
I ain't the handsomest guy in the world.
Yeah.
All right? Now, what you gonna do is slick Willie wrong
Yes.
when I look at it like that.
Yes, sir.
No skibbles, no
He
skibbles.
can talk nice.
Yeah.
He got all that stuff, the hair, the money, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm coming with this, and I can get a glass of milk like that. Man, I don't even stand a chance when I'm at work. He come by.
Yeah. That's it. Amen.
Hey, I'm just telling you, like, if this is what I've observed. I'm like a Solomon. I'm like Ecclesiastes. Hey, this is what I have observed under the sun.
Yes.
Now, I don't think I'm that great. I work within my parameters and what I know. Women, I'm telling you,
Yes.
you'd be a fool to give your stuff away like that.
Yes.
What he got to offer?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
What he bringing?
Nothing.
What do you need something for nothing for?
Nothing. Zero.
He's after you.
That's right.
You can get what you want.
Yes.
You can get faithfulness, commitment, provision,
Yes.
unconditional love, and longevity.
Yeah.
You can have that.
Yes.
Take it from a man.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
It's a simple thing.
Yes. Simple.
Men, tell him no, this guy will start begging.
Man.
He will start coming around
Yeah.
because he's a hunter. You got to drive the hunter out of him.
Yeah, boy. I ain't lying, man. Working
You
hard.
will drive the hunter out of him.
I tell you,
It will, y'all. I'm telling you. Be wise.
Yes.
Either to God or to your husband.
Yes.
Don't fool yourself. There is no middle ground. And that's what I want to leave you with today. It's music. Today's a good day to give your life to the Lord. Great day to get things straight. Wise. It's a great day to become a daughter of Sarah.
Yes.
So that's what you got to decide. Am I going to be a daughter of Sarah or a daughter of Eve who believes she's right? Lord have mercy. Ain't that something? Thank you, Jesus.